afternoon, everyone, colleagues at UITM Malaysia and at Thammasat University. So it's nice to meeting you all online. So my name is Kom at Thammasat University, and today I'm going to be talking about importance performance analysis, and we're going to be doing some fun workshops together to show you, how do we, design a survey to collect data to measure the service quality, right? And today I'm going to talk about two different tools. Oh, but sorry, by the way, before I start, welcome to Thammasat University. And so we have 4 campuses, but the largest one is called Rangsit campus. It's about 1 hour from, it's about 1 hour from Bangkok campus. And so very nice campus, very large area. Most of the undergraduate programs will be offered at this main campus, including some of the postgraduate program as well. However, at the College of Innovation, we are located at Thammasat campus, which is the more like a city campus. So very close to the city, close to the river, and a very, very iconic, very historic location. And so we mostly have like international programs or some postgraduate programs. So we are located at Thammasat campus. And in fact, this afternoon, our team have already taken some of the UITM executive, to have a campus tour around our campus. So we look forward to welcome students and faculty from UITM to visit our campus very soon in the near future. So today I'm going to be talking about 2 different topics, and both of them are related to service quality management. Now, a lot of students, in Thailand and overseas as well, a lot of them have done research or are going to do research about service. And so there are many tools involved that you can actually use, there are a number of them, a number of concepts and theory, but today I thought that I want to introduce you to technique that can be easy to use, right, and not too complicated, and you can get results that you can apply to the way we want to improve the service quality. So the first concept I want to talk about is ServQual, and as you might already know, this is a short abbreviation for service quality, right? And in fact, some of you might already know this technique. So now the question is, when we want to compare, or when we want to measure the service that we provide. For example, if we are, let's say that I'm the manager at the hotel, how do I measure a level of service that I have, right? Of course, there are many ways to do that. You can ask for customer satisfaction, right? You can ask them to do a survey, about their satisfaction level on each touch point or on each items in the hotel. For example, front desk during the check-in, restaurants, housekeeper, and so on, right? So there are so many ways to measure service quality, and all those techniques are fine, no problem. But when it comes to the question whether do we really need to care, or do we need to really concern about each item, right? Okay, let me put it this way. For example, let's say if we ask our guests, right, at the hotel, we ask them, okay, what is your satisfaction on our parking space, right? Parking lot, for example. And they might say, okay, we are very satisfied, right? Because, this hotel have plenty of car park. But what we didn't ask them is that, but is that really important to your decision to choose our hotel, right? Are you coming to our hotel because we have lots of parking lot, right? And we also didn't ask them, so what was your expectation of our parking lot, and what is, when you actually see our service, right, or parking lot, what do you think about that? Is that the same as what you expect? Is that higher than what you expect, or is that actually lower? So today, the 2 techniques that I'm going to talk to you today will try to do that, right? So the first technique, service quality, we'll try to measure the gap between what customer actually expect and what they actually perceive or what they actually see in reality, right? So, so the first thing is called ServQual. Again, as I mentioned, it's a quantitative survey trying to understand the customer perception, right, and the customer expectation. Now, what we try to see here is that we try to see what is called discrepancy between the customer expectation and the reality, right? So we try to find a gap between what customer expect and what customer actually see in reality. For example, have you ever got the problem that when you go to agoda.com or hotels.com, right, and you want to book this hotel, it looks really nice, a great photos, you know, it looks really great, and the rooms looks very big, but when you actually arrive at the hotel, you get disappointed because the room actually don't looks as big like in the photo, right? So that's already a discrepancy or a gap in terms of what customer expect and what happens in reality. Another example is that, you know, in Thailand, and I'm sure in Malaysia as well, a lot of people order food delivery, right? In Thailand, Grab is very popular in Thailand. You know, I'm sure that Grab is probably very popular in Malaysia as well. So sometimes when we want to order food from Grab application, again, sometimes the photos looks very nice, right? For example, if I want to order a hamburger, a burger, for example, I might search a different restaurant and I find, oh, this restaurant has got the burger looks really nice, right? But when I actually order it, it doesn't look that nice, or maybe it looks a lot smaller than I thought. Again, that's the discrepancy or a gap between what people expect and what people actually see in reality. So this kind of discrepancy can be it can impact in terms of customer loyalty, right? Because, okay, you know, let's say, okay, you found the hotel on Agoda has a very nice hotel room photo, but then when you arrive, you found that the hotel is not as good, right? So what happened next time? You probably never come back to this hotel again, right? So already lost the customer, or you know, they already lose like customer loyalty. So ServQual or customer service gap or discrepancy that I mentioned about, it's really important for the service industry, right? We should try to determine if there's any gap between expectation and reality. And in the theory, ServQual, they actually measure on 5 components or 5 dimensions. And so the first one's called tangible. This is basically what customer can see, you know, like the building, the elevator, the staff uniform, facilities, you know, like everything that they can see, right? Hotel rooms, bathroom, you know, what they can touch basically, right? So tangible. So so the questions under the tangible dimension, we would ask them something like, what was your expectation of the hotel's cleanliness, for example, or what was your expectation of the hotel's guest room, for example, right? And so once we ask that what they expect, we ask them the same question, but this time instead of asking their expectation, we ask them, okay, in reality, you know, when you actually arrive at the hotel, how did the hotel perform? For example, you know, basically what it means is that once you arrive at the hotel, do you think that what you see in reality is the same as what you expect? Right? So we're trying to understand, you know, the tangible aspect of the service. The second dimension is called reliability. So it's all about the ability for the staff to perform service accurately, right? For example, if we check into the hotel and we order room service, right? Is that food that they order correct, right? Or providing service as promised, right? A lot of hotels, they they would have like a a slogan or a promotion campaign. For example, in some hotel, they promise that any problem that happens will be fixed within 15 minutes, right? So that's their kind of the promise. So can the hotel actually do as they promise, right? Yeah, performing service right the first time, right? When there's a problem, do the hotel staff solve the problem right the first time, right? Now, again, I give a lot of example about hotels, but it could be in any kind of business, airlines, transportation, university, bank, hospital, organization. So you can see that the ServQual model can be applied across different businesses to measure the service quality. So the third one is called responsiveness. So it's actually mean, the prompt service to the customer, right? Do they try to solve the problem right away? Do the staff willing to help you or not, right? Are they, really want to help you or not? Or are they just feel like you're bothering them, right? And the fourth one is called assurance. Now, assurance is more like the knowledge of the employee and their ability to trust and confident. Right? Do they actually know that product? For example, sometimes when we go to a restaurant, and let's say this is your first time going to this restaurant, right? And you have never ordered a steak menu, for example. So when you ask them, if they can explain, what is this menu looks like or tastes like, or is this spicy, or is this halal foods, for example, like for some of the guests might be halal, prefer halal food, for example, can the restaurant staff explain or not, right? When we ask them for a recommendation, can they explain that, right? Do they have that kind of assurance ability or not, right? Do the staff make us feel safe in this transaction or not, like keeping confidentiality and so on. The last one is called empathy. Now, empathy is all about trying to care for, each individual customer, right? So basically, trying to give individual attention. For example, if the customers walk into the hotel with a dog, right? So, the hotel staff will need to be attentive, right? And try to offer the guests, with some assistance, right? For example, some hotels, they allow pets. So there's going to be some facilities that you need to be provided in the guest room, for example. So empathy is all about understanding each customers and what they need, right? So basically, try to understand them, or if the customer said that, this is their honeymoon or this is their wedding anniversary, right? What can you do to make them feel better? Are you going to put champagne in the guest room or what, right? So all these 5 dimensions, the way we're going to measure it is that we're going to use a Likert scale, right? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 5 is very high, 1 is very low. So what happened here with the ServQual survey is that you can see that we have a questions list in the middle, right? And what we do is that in each dimensions, we will ask them a few questions. Now, as you remember there are 5 dimensions of ServQual, right? The first one is called tangible. So for first one, tangible, we might ask them, let's say 3 or 5 questions about the tangible dimension. Like in this example, they asked about the hotel facility, they asked about the materials in the guest room, they asked about the staff uniform, they asked about the service and so on. So on the left and right, you will see the question that we asked them for their level of expectation. That's what before they arrive at the hotel, right? So question number 1, the hotel has the visually appealing facilities, right? So before they come to the hotel or their expectation, what is their expectation of the hotel facility, right? Is it high or very high? If it's very high, it could be 4 or 5. Now on the right, we ask them again the same questions about the hotel facility. in reality or the level of perception, what is their perception, once they have already see the reality, right? Is that low or high or not, right? So once we ask them all those questions, we will try to find a gap score. So gap score is basically a discrepancy or the difference between expectation and perception. Now, for example, for the first dimension tangible, expectation is 4.8. So it means that customer expect quite high for the tangible aspect, right? Like the hotel cleanliness, the modern hotel, staff uniform, and so on. Now, in reality, the perception, the guests say that, okay, once they arrive at the hotel, they only give like 3 scores, which means like not very high. So this gap score is about minus 1.8. So it means that customers are a bit disappointed because the tangible dimensions are not as good as they thought or as expected. Now, dimension number 2, reliability, expectation is 4, perception is 4.5. So the gap score is plus 0.5. It means that the hotel is delivering, exceeding the customer expectation, right? We do better than what they expect, and so on. The same as responsiveness, assurance, and empathy, right? So, so for the ServQual, I did not have the workshop to show you, but what I want to show you is for the next topic that I want to talk about, and that is called the importance performance analysis. Right. So the next topic I want to talk about is called IPA, or important performance analysis. Now, remember with the ServQual, we try to find a gap between customer expectation and perception. Right. We try to find a gap score in terms of service quality. Now, IPA works differently. What IPA would do is that this tool will help you to prioritize your service improvement. It will tell you exactly what kind of service or what kind of tasks need to be improved first, which one need to be doing second, or third, or last, which means you don't have to do anything about it, right? So it's kind of help you to prioritize your service quality, right? Or you can even use it to prioritize the strategy at the company. So again, what makes a good service quality, right? Again, there are many models, there are many concepts available, but the IPA can be very helpful, when trying to achieve, when trying to analyze the outcome of the service. So this concept was actually quite not new, right? It was introduced by academics in 1977, but again, since then, a lot of studies have been using the IPA to analyze the importance and performance of the service quality, and a lot of businesses have used this model, like car company, food, tourism, education, banking, and so on. So a lot of industry have been using IPA for years, and it's very simple to helping companies to try to understand more about the aspect of the service that they need to improve first. So yeah, as I mentioned, it's simple, but it's very helpful. It help you set priorities to guide resource allocation decision. And the way, so why do we need to prioritize our priority and resources? Well, that's because we have limited resources, right? We have limited in terms of time, people, money, facility, and so on. So sometimes we might not be able to improve everything at the same time. So IPA will help you to kind of help you set priorities. Okay. So IPA step by step is very simple. First, identify the factors or the feature or service that you want to evaluate. And then you decide IPA survey with 5 Likert scales. Okay, 5 means very high, 1 means very low. Okay. In each factor, we will evaluate in terms of importance and performance. Now, in ServQual that I talked previously is different. What we measure is expectation and perception, right? But for IPA, we measure importance and performance, right? So you can see that these two techniques are measuring different aspects of service. So the survey might look something like this, right? For example, the first question, the cleanliness of the bathroom. We asked our customer, what is the importance of this factor, right? So if customers think that, well, let's say if the customer say that it's very important that the toilet should be clean, right? So they might say, okay, very important. But in terms of performance or satisfaction, the customer might say, no, they're not doing good, so not very clean, so they might give a low score, right? So you can see already that between the importance that customer think and the perception, and the performance, right? There's already a gap between the score, right? Second question, the friendliness of the staff, right? Do customers think that staff friendliness is important? They might say, no, not that important, because we're not going to spend much time talking to them anyway. So let's say the customer might give the score like maybe 3 out of 5, right? So about in the middle, not that important. But for the performance on the right, they might say, wow, once we arrive at this hotel, the staff is really, really friendly. So I give them 5 score. So you can see that for staff friendliness, the importance might be only 3, but the satisfaction is a lot higher, right? So you can see that that's a positive gap. So you can see that it's quite similar to ServQual, but then again, they're measuring different aspects. Now, and in the next few minutes, we're going to do workshop together, right? So I explain to you exactly step by step on how to do it. Okay, so once you do the IPA, we're gonna put each factor in the graph like this, right? For example, let's say the staff friendliness, importance might be 3, performance might be, let's say 5, right? So we're gonna plot in the graph, and the graph will have 4 different quadrants or 4 different parts, right? On the top right corner is called keep up the good work. On the top left, concentration. On the lower left, low priority, and the lower right is possible overkill. I'll explain each area. So first one, for any items that fall on the top right corner, okay, it means that you need to concentrate here. Why? Because this service has got a high importance, right? So customers think that this service is important, but we are not doing well at all because we got a low performance, right? So high importance but low performance mean that you have to concentrate here. You have to fix this first, right? You have to improve this first. Next one on the top right corner, it means that this service is high importance and high performance. So it means that customers think that this is important, but at the same time, we are doing very well, right? So keep up the good work, right? Keep doing that. That's great. Next one, low priority. It means that customers think that this is not that important, right? So low importance, but we also not doing well either. Low performance. So what it means? It means that low priority. We don't have to do anything about it because customers don't really care, and we don't do well either, right? So last one is on the lower right corner, possible overkill. It means that we do have a high performance, but customers think that it's not important, right? So we are actually spending too much time doing something that customer don't think is important, right? So this is possible overkill. So you have to kind of reduce your effort a bit, right? So that you can concentrate more on the top left corner. Okay, so I want to show you here Here is example of the way we can analyze the IPA. You can see that there are 6 different service or 6 different strategy, right? So I'm gonna see if you can guess it correctly. So my question is, from this graph over here, which strategy or which service should be improved first? I'm gonna give you 10 seconds to guess, and then I'm gonna give you the answer. Okay, which factor, we have F1 all the way to F6, right? Which one needs to be improved first? It has the highest priority. Which one? Can you guess? Okay. The answer is F3. And the reason is because F3 has a high importance, but we got a low performance, which means customers think that this is important, but we are not doing well, right? So on the top left corner, F3, that needs to be done first, okay? My next question, which strategy or which service is already doing well? We should keep doing that. Just continue doing that. We don't have to change anything. Can you guess? Can you guess the answer? Okay, so the thing that we don't have to do anything, just keep doing the same thing, is on the top right corner. So F1, F4, F6, that means these 3 strategy have a high importance, but also we have a high performance. So we're doing well, right? And customer thinks it's important. So we have to keep doing that, right? Continue doing that. Now, the last one is on the lower left corner. It means that low importance and low performance, which means we don't have to do anything about it. Now, I forgot to mention one more thing. When you draw a line in the middle for both horizontal and vertical, we need to use the average score, okay, of each factor. But anyway, I'll show you in a minute. Okay, I'll show you in a minute. Okay, so now we're gonna do demo, right? So I'm going to send you this link in the chat. Okay, so you can either do this Google form in the chat box, or you can do hang on, or you can scan QR code, right? Either way. Okay, so I'm gonna give you a minute, okay, to scan this QR code, and or you can click the link that I sent at the chat. Okay, so I'll give you a minute, but please don't start doing that yet. I'll explain you how to do this Google form, right? So I'll give you a minute to do that, to scan the QR code. Okay, I think that you might probably already scan the QR code or click the link right now. If you're doing this on your smartphone, please turn your phone horizontally, right? Because there are 5 scale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you do it vertically, you might not be able to see the full Google form, right? So please turn the phone horizontally. So now I'm going to show you. So now I'm going to show you what the Google form looks like. So the question today is that, I heard that McDonald's are very popular in Malaysia and the same in Thailand. So we're going to do a fun workshop together. And I want you to measure the IPA of McDonald's. So the question I want you to answer, I would like you to answer is that first, please rate the importance of McDonald's item. 1 is very low important and 5 is very high, right? So 1 is very low, 2 is low, 3 is medium, 4 maybe high, 5 is very high important. So what do you think about this item? Is that important to you? right? Let me put it this way. So when you go to McDonald's, are these factors important to your decision, right? For example, if you go to McDonald's because the food has a very great taste, right? So for the important, you might click number 5, okay? That, okay, I go to McDonald's because, taste the food. Variety of menu, are you going there because they have a lot of menus? If not that, if that's not that important, you can do it like 2 or 1 or 3. Promotion, are you going to McDonald's because of promotion, right? What about the staff friendliness? Is that factor important to you? What about service mind? Is that important? What about staff product knowledge? Staff knowledge, not product knowledge mean like when you ask them something, can they explain? For example, uh, if you ask them that, do you have any new promotion or new menu, or if you ask them about this menu, can the staff explain like what is the ingredient or not? For example, like some people are allergic to uh, almond nuts or something, right? So do the staff know the ingredients or not? Right? Is that important to you or not? What about cleanliness? Right? Is the cleanliness at McDonald's important to you? What about the car park? Right? Do you go to McDonald's because they have good car park or not? What about free Wi-Fi? What about the self-order kiosk or screen, right? So like when you go to McDonald's, you might see the big screen that you can order by yourself, right? Is this important to you? Is this the reason why you go to McDonald's or not, right? Now, the next question I want to ask you, what about the performance of McDonald's? How well they're doing, right? Um, Food test, right? Do you think that the food at McDonald's has a good taste? If you think it's very good, maybe 5 or 4. If it's not very good, maybe 2, maybe 1, right? What about the variety of menu? Do you think that they have lots of menu to choose from? What about the promotion and so on, right? So I asked you 2 questions. First of all, what do you think about the importance of these factors, right? Is this factor important to you when you go to McDonald's? And the second question, what about the for performance? Is McDonald's doing well in these items or not, in your opinion, right? So I'm gonna give each of you maybe 5 minutes to complete the survey, and then after this, we're gonna analyze this form together, right? So again, if you haven't clicked the form, I already sent the link on the chat, so please complete the survey for me, please, so that we can have a look at the results, okay? So I'm gonna give each of you maybe a couple minutes to complete the Google form, and then after that we'll take a look at the results, and I'll show you exactly how do we analyze it, right? So I'll give you maybe 1 or 2 minutes, and you can start now. Okay, so right now it shows that no one has submitted the Google form yet. So once some of you have already submitted, the score will start to show up on my screen here. So we are waiting for you to complete the Google form. So I'll give each of you about a minute to do that. All right. So please, I will have to ask everyone in this Zoom to help me, fill in the Google form so that I can show you how do we analyze the IPA. Okay. I'll give you 2 more minutes to complete. Thanks. Okay, right now, a few people have already submitted. So I'm still waiting for the other to complete, but right now, um, waiting for uh, other student or participant to complete. Okay, I need to change a formula in my Google Sheet a little bit, so I'm gonna uh, change some of this, but in the meantime, waiting for the rest of you to complete the form. Thanks. Okay, please give me one more minute to change the formula. Somehow the formula got uh, something wrong, but I'm fixing it now. We start to see data coming in from all of you. Okay, so wow, that's quite a lot to change. Okay, just give me a minute. Again, this tool is really easy to use, and uh, in some university, they even teach this technique as part of the research method class, because so many students use this for their part of their data analysis, and again you will see that it's actually quite easy to use, and you can also use this to measure like company strategies, or measure the uh, try to help you to set strategies or priorities. Okay, I almost done with my form. Okay, just a few more, and then we'll have a look at the results. Okay, so all right, I hope you're still with me. Just one more minute, and then I'm done. Okay, uh, actually I tested yesterday. It seems fine, but today somehow the Google Sheet got some problem. Okay, but should be fine now. Okay, so all right, so now we have got the score. Okay, let me make it easier. Okay, right, so right now we have let's see how many people complete. Okay, 21 people have already completed the survey. So what I'm going to do now is that I'm going to okay, I'm going to capture the screen here. Okay, I got the result, and I'm going to move over here to okay, so now we've got the result of the IPA. Okay, and what we will do next is that we're gonna plot into the graph, right? Now, so as you can see here, there are two axes, right? Importance and performance, and we have item A all the way to item J. Okay, so let's have a look one by one. So the first one is called food test, right? Is here A. Now food test important is 4.1. Okay, so around here. Performance is 3.9. So somewhere here. Okay. Now number B, variety of menu importance is 3.9 and performance is 4. Okay. C is promotion 4.2, a little bit higher, and 4.1. Okay, somewhere here. D is staff readiness. Is about what 4.1 and 3.8. Again, I'm doing quickly, so it might not be like accurately in terms of like digits, but E is staff service mind 4.3. Okay, and service mind performance is 3.7. Okay, F staff product knowledge 4.3. Okay, and performance is about 3.9. So approximately like that. G is cleanliness is 4.6. Okay, so customer expect a very high for cleanliness, and reality about 3.9. Okay, H is car part importance 3.9 about here. Performance about 3.7. I is free Wi-Fi 3.0. So very interesting. For free Wi-Fi, customers don't think that this is important. They're not going to McDonald's because of free Wi-Fi. And performance is about 3.2. Okay, so interesting. Okay, 3.2. Okay, I think E performance need to be 3.7. I think I need to move this a bit because for service mind, the performance about 3.7. Okay, it's really hard to see, so somewhere there. J is the self-order kiosk. The important is 3.9 and performance is about 4.1. Okay, now we're not done yet. We need to draw a line, and the way we draw a line is we draw a line based on the average score. So for importance, you can see here that the average score is about 4.0. So here is the line. Okay. For performance, the average score is about 3.8. So somewhere here. Okay, again, it might not be exactly because this is a live demo, but you get an idea. So by seeing this, oh, sorry, I forgot to turn on my camera. So by seeing this, what can we learn from this exercise? So again, I'm gonna let you guess which area that McDonald's should improve first. Okay, so I'll give you a second to make a guess. So which items need to be improved first? Which one? The answer is item. Oh, I think somebody answered. Yeah, correctly. All right. So, oh, that's our MC. All right. So, the item number E is the highest priority. Why? Because that has a very high importance. So customer think that this is important. So and E is a service mind. So customer think that the service mind of the staff is very important, right? That's what they expect. But in the performance is actually only not very high. Okay, so staff actually the average score is 3.8. So item E is oh, hang on. So I put this wrong. Item E should be like very, very close to the line. So yeah, item E, you have to improve first because high importance, low performance. Next one that you have to improve is item D dot, which is staff friendliness, right? Customer think that this is important, but they're not delivering very well. So it's very interesting because item D and E, they're quite similar in terms of staff service, right? E is staff service mind, D is staff friendliness. So interesting that what you have answered shows that this is important for the customer, but they're not doing well. So if I'm the manager at McDonald's, I'm gonna improve that first. Okay, next we're gonna do what other thing that McDonald's is already doing well. It's on the top right corner. Item that they're doing well is A, food test. Well, actually, food test performance is lower than important. So anyway, as I said, I'm doing this in a rush, so might not be might not be like 100% accurate because there's some digit score. But anyway, on the top right corner, you have to improve that first. What else? Promotion, right? Okay. What are the things that there should not concern too much? The answer is item I, free Wi-Fi. Okay, so it means that customers don't care whether McDonald's have free Wi-Fi or not, and McDonald's not doing well either, right? Maybe they don't have free Wi-Fi, or maybe their free Wi-Fi is very slow. So in that case, it means not important for the customer. Also, they're not doing well either, so don't care, so we don't have to do anything about it. Just keep it the way it is, right? You don't have to worry. Now, there are something that they're doing too well, okay? And that is item H, which is the car park, right? So customers think that car parking lot is not important, right? Because maybe they're going to go there by bus, they can walk there, or maybe a lot of McDonald's are in the shopping mall, so car park is not that important. But maybe McDonald's is doing too well, right? Maybe they have plenty of car park, but nobody parked their car there because everyone walked to McDonald's, for example. So it means that McDonald's might doing too well in terms of car park, right? So it means that they might want to consider turning some of the space into something else, right? Maybe turn into like I don't know, outdoor seating areas or whatever, right? What else that they're doing too well? Variety of menu, right? So it seems that they're doing too well, but that's not important to the customer. Maybe that's because customer only order like the best-selling menu, like Big Mac, for example, or Happy Meal, right? So in that case, it means that yes, they have a lot of menus to choose from, but that's not the most important thing, right? The most important thing is the service, right? As you can see in this IPA analysis. So again, this is a quick example, and we only have about 20 sample size, right? Only 20 of you answer the survey. Now, if we ask McDonald's customer to fill in the survey more, like 100, you might get a more reliable data that you can analyze. But this is just to show you quickly how the IPA analysis can be done, and we can use this to do it for a number of things. Doesn't have to be about service, it could be about anything. For example, let's say that you want to analyze the performance of your company's business, right? Or if you want to you can use the IPA to do that, right? So you can evaluate like in terms of how our finance department are doing, how our customer service department are doing, and so on. So a lot of applications that you can use from the IB analysis, and it's quite easy to use. And so just to wrap things up, that's the last part of my slide there. And so what we have done today, that I talk about first, I talk about ServQual. It means measuring service quality trying to find a gap between customer expectation and their perception, right? Trying to see whether they, what are the gap score, what are the discrepancy. Secondly, we talk about the IPA, importance performance analysis, trying to prioritize the way we improve our service and prioritize our strategies, right? What are the things that we have to improve first? What should we do second? What should we do third? Or what should we do nothing about it, right? In our exercise, we found that McDonald's free Wi-Fi is something that, okay, it's very clear that it's not important to the customer. They're not going to McDonald's because of the free Wi-Fi. And McDonald's is not doing too well either, right? So it means that they don't have to worry about the Wi-Fi, right? And we can also see that from the workshop, we see that parking lot, for example, again, not important for the customer, but they're doing too well. They might want to consider, turning some of the space into something else. And from the exercise, we can also see that what customer value the most are the staff service, right? In terms of friendliness, in terms of staff service mind, that is something that very important for the customer, but right now, McDonald's are not doing that well, right? So that is something that if I'm the manager at McDonald's and based on this IPA survey, that's what I'm gonna improve first, right? So thank you very much, and thank you everyone for attending the symposium, and that's gonna end my presentation of today. Thank you very much.